She was born in the Philippines, where she grew up in a quiet farming town north of Manila. She's lived in Calgary for more than 25 years. Flora finds joy in learning new things, with varied interests from dressmaking, cosmetology, farming, and business. And recently, she worked on the Dream Quilts project with This Is My City. You can see a portrait and some writing that she did on this quilt here. Flora is a highly resourceful person and loves to travel, as you'll see tonight. She is very much involved in the community through church groups, service, and not-for-profit organizations. Please help me welcome Flora to the stage.
Good evening. I will tell you a story that happened more than 15 years ago. Back then, I haven't really traveled by myself in a new city outside of Calgary after I arrived from the Philippines. Heck, even in the Philippines, I didn't do much traveling outside of my hometown. My schedule was basic: school and then home. For 7 years, my primary classmate from the Philippines was constantly pestering me to visit her in Toronto. I finally gave in. However, 2 weeks before the scheduled visit, my so-called friend was no longer available to host me for the trip. What was I supposed to do? I believe the opportunity came knocking on my door for a reason. And I don't want to be old and wrinkly that can hardly walk to start exploring my surroundings. Then the adventure started. For the next 2 weeks, I scrambled to gather all the information that I needed to do. I almost crossed via an islands of unknown and keep reminding myself to focus on the experience and be open to discovery. I started by trying to identify the places I want to see, which attraction I just can't miss, and the sites that sounds most appealing. Once I put together an outline of my trip, I started booking lodging and land transportation. Then started packing comfortable walking shoes, clothes, sunglasses, easy to carry suitcase, and of course travel guidebooks and maps. God is good, as I met a former co-worker of mine at a party down here at the Engineering Air Theater who was finishing her master's in Toronto. She let me stay in her flat at York University, and that gave me a little peace of mind. She accompanied me even with her tight schedule during her final exam and thesis deadline. In between the city walking and sightseeing, my thinking cap lit up. And I tried checking the phone book for a listing of one of my old male high school classmate, because I know he won't change the last name, that my pretend friend mentioned in one of our telephone conversation. And Lady Luck kicked in that the first number I dialed from the 3 yellow pages choices was the right number. He was happy to hear from me and mentioned that they have a gathering the next day, and if I'm available, he will pick me up. As a result, I met many people from my old town. I had a very nice visit, and the most important one is I got a contact person from the next leg of the trip in historical Ottawa. I arrived in downtown Ottawa early evening by via rail and walked to my book accommodation. To my surprise, it was a former Ottawa jail that they have turned into a hostel within a year. The jail was closed due to poor and unsanitary condition. But left much of the structure intact, allowing guests to experience a night in jail. Imagine my first time to stay in a place outside of my family residence was in a jail. I hesitantly took my first step up to the reception desk and was assigned a bed. I walked in the dark hallway with only few incandescent lamps to light my way. Then arriving to a dark cell, I saw a heavy-built woman with tattoo in her arms lying in the bed opposite mine. Hi! No response. I said, hi! Still no response. Strangely enough, could she be a ghost? Now my heart started pounding harder, and I want to run like Speedy Gonzales. I found myself back in the reception area, nervous and restless. And then I remembered to call the contact I got from Toronto friends. Started to put a quarter in the phone and dialed the number. And lucky enough, she answered the phone, and I anxiously mentioned to her my strange experience. She offered to pick me up and stay at her house about 30 minutes from the hostel. After 10 minutes of calming me down, I decided to stay, since it was only for one night, and I have only 8 hours to see all the major attractions like the Parliament Hill within easy walking distance. And besides, I already paid for my jail cell. So we just agreed to meet the next day for lunch. I walked a few blocks on the main street to further calm me down. And on the way back to the jail, I started to call on my heavenly friends, Jesus, Mary, all the angels and saints, to protect me that night. Viola, I woke up refreshed to start a new adventure and started to relax. To my surprise, the frightening lady from last night was nowhere in sight. And I just started to savor the next 12 days visiting Montreal, Washington, D.C., Atlantic City, New York City, and Niagara Falls. I had also a chance to tour the top floor, which had served as the jail death row that has been restored much to its original condition, with the rope still hanging in there, using for hanging convicts, and the confinement cell, which is just this size, called the hall. And daily tours are still conducted to this day, so you're welcome to visit it. And let me know if you experience what I experienced. All in all, the trip went well, and it gave me a lot of courage to visit other interesting and some dangerous places. I visited 18 countries in Europe, including the war-torn Bosnia, Israel, including the 8-meter pens of the West Bank, the Mayan ruins of Mexico, and the Caribbeans, and of course, the many beautiful islands of the Philippines. Traveling really opened my eyes to the beauty of other people's lives, their daily living, their culture, their minds, and their hearts. This experience opened my eyes and gave me confidence to do whatever I want at will, whether with company or alone. So, what lesson have I learned? 3 things I would like to highlight. Firstly, I know that God is always with me, guiding and protecting me wherever I am. Secondly, believe and trust in oneself. And lastly, relax, it's life. Thank you and happy travels. Good night.